What's up, everybody? Andy Waddell with Form Films, and welcome to Grade in 10. So today I want to walk you through my process to grade this delicious cupcake shot. It's a macro shot with lots of chocolate and falling sprinkles and a saturated hot pink background. It's going to be a whole lot of color to wrangle, and we're probably going to be hungry when we're done. So let's dive in. Okay, so here's the shot. This has come in the flat rawness of the Red Raptor with the Laowa macro probe lens. So we're just going to flip our project file to color managed with SDR Rec 709 output. Boom. Okay. This is our starting point. Now I am going to have to do some work to kind of undo some of this Laowa lens vignetting, and we're just going to want to brighten up this part where it's a little bit dark and tame this crazy hot pink background that's just, smoking all the whites and everywhere. So let's get going. First up, I'm going to do some denoising. And yes, for the first time ever, I remembered to do that first. There's not a lot of noise in here, but I just want to put a touch on here. Mostly for these darker parts right in here. Okay, next up, move that out of the way. This is going to be my exposure / contrast node. I don't normally do this, but since I'm kind of reviving some dynamics from the color managed conversion, I'm going to break my own rules here a little bit. So I'm going to lift a little bit in the shadows just to kind of bring that to where I feel like it needs to be. And then pop just a little bit in the low high or upper mids in here. So that's a good starting point. So let's keep going. Next up is primaries. I can't seem to label. There we go. So I'm going to grab the offset wheel and I'm just going to pull everything a skosh cooler because I want to get this cupcake cup just a touch wider right here where it really matters. This brightest part. And it's not going to take much. So here's the difference. Disabled, enabled. It's just very subtle, but even that little bit helps break it off, and it also makes this hot pink a little less orange, brings it to a little bit of a nicer pink. So let's leave him up. Let's keep going. Make some adjustments. So I'm going to make an adjustment layer, node, layer. I'm going to come in here and I'm just going to pull a little bit of red out of the low shadows. Kind of even it out on the scopes with the blue and the green on the shadows. Disabled, enabled, liking the way that feels. Okay, now I'm going to make a parallel and I'm going to do two things. I'm going to hit the chocolate and pull a little bit of our pink out of the chocolate, and then I'm going to hit the cup. We're going to try to make it pop a little whitey or white. All right, so here we go. Let's go to the qualifier, go to the 3D qualifier, and let's grab some chocolate. Let's get all over that chocolate. There we go. All right, let's clean this up a little bit. Let's see. So we have some sprinkles falling through, which is creating those streaks. Not the end of the world, though. Let's grab that out. Yeah, I can. That's great. Okay, cool. I'm going to blur this out a little bit, denoise it a touch. Okay, feeling pretty good. So now what I want to do is come over here and I'm just going to desaturate this chocolate a little bit. There we go. Boom. All right, so let me disable this node. All right, so it's picking up a lot of the red, or the reds from the hot pink. Now I'm just pulling it back just a little richer chocolate. It actually feels like dark chocolate almost. See right here? Right over here. It's just like skadoosh. Also helps the falling sprinkles kind of pop a little more. Speaking of, this one right here is just kind of interesting. So if I kill denoising, you can see a little bit of pixelation and noise in that. But I'm appreciative of how the denoising, when I enable it, cleans it up. Even though it's a fraction of a second that it's on the screen, it's going to make a big difference. All right, let's keep rolling. Cup. Okay, this is going to be the challenging one because we have this reflection. And, you know, the principle of this whole show is the idea of get through a project with a good grade on every shot before the end of the day. So, you know, if you're working on a 2 or 3 minute video, you need to be, you know, hitting shots about 10 minutes a pop, you know, and you're going to get through it. What you don't want to do is get to the end of the day and have one shot that you've done because you screwed around with it for 4 hours. So what we're going to do is we're going to work on this cup, but we're not going to worry too much about the reflections as the shot is moving, and it would be a lot to track right now. So we're just going to focus on the primary part, which is up top. So let's play ball. I'm going to sample this by just rolling around with the mouse and dodging the holes. Okay. Oops, grabbed the wrong thing, sorry. Do, however, want to get there if I can. Yeah. Okay, so first of all, if I just come in and pull the saturation down by half, it makes a huge difference. All right, so watch this. Disabled, enabled. Boom. The cup is popping right here. Really brings it out nicely. Now, I do still see, obviously, the difference right here, the white, and then you have the pink of the reflection from the original, you know, ungraded part. Again, we're not going to worry too much about that. Going into this, we're going to just that would be something we come back later and can track and address. I'm also going to pop this just a little bit, put a little bit more mojo into the white. So just hit your mojo button in Resolve. Okay, that's looking pretty zesty. Let's deal with the pink. Okay, so there's a couple things I want to do. You notice we still have a little bit of this vignette, but it's also the paper roll. This paper roll was about 8 feet from camera. There's a 4x8 piece of plexiglass that's creating the reflection. And then we have, you know, a ton of lights trying to light it, you know, as evenly as possible, but it's never going to be perfect. So we're going to grab the pink and then use color compressor to squeeze the hue and the saturation to make it a little more uniform, which will kind of make it disappear more in a really cool way. So I'm going to grab the trusty 3D qualifier one more time. And just sample the snot out of this. All right. Yeah, see, like even over here on this left side, it's like, what's going on with that pink? Come on. Okay. Start in the middle this time. Work my way out. Okay. Now I can add that section there. Oops, that was a falling star or something. Okay. There is what we've got. So now we will clean it just a little bit. There's so many different colors all over the place in this thing. It's hard to sometimes know if, you know, like one of these dots right here is supposed to be pink. Gonna denoise this a little bit. Pretty good bit, I should say. Okay, so now we've got that isolated. Let's grab the color compressor. We want this whole thing to feel like that color right there. I'm just going to sample it, and that's what I'm going to say I want it to feel like. And then I'm going to lean into the hue compression pretty hard, upwards of like 65%, and then saturation as well, probably about 55%. Just guessing. Not going to compress luminance because it gets wonky. It's destroying the reflections and all the falling things, so leaving that alone. Okay, now I can also Make that sucker brighter, darker, more saturated, less saturated, whatever I want to do, because it's just so well isolated. So make it just a touch more saturated. But checking the vector scope to make sure I'm still in bounds. Yes, I am. Okay, let's kill this. Boom, there's raw, or not raw, but there's, pre-isolation and grade, and then there's the background. I'm gonna grab it and do our magic. Really brings it to life. I like it a lot. Okay. I'm going to do, essentially, a reverse vignette. Reason being, I'm going to fix the vignette caused by the lens. Sorry. I lost my train of thought. So I'm just going to basically eradicate that. And how I'm going to do it. Let's make this as round as possible. And I'm just going to dial up some curves. Now we're going to invert the mask. And then we're going to play with doing this until it disappears into our eyes, so we can't see like this white ring around it. So this is raw, or before touch. That's after. I'm just going to hit the low mids just a little bit. Okay, so there's off and there's on. Not quite enough. Off, on. There it is. Let's bring it, especially this corner right here. This far left top corner was kind of a bigger culprit. Okay, it gets a little bit white right there, so I'm going to pull it back just a little bit. There, that's feeling a lot more even. Actually, you know what I should do? I wonder if I should delete that. Ooh, this is good. Okay, let's put that in front of this. Let's call this reverse vig or vignette. Okay, so I'm going to do that before the pink color compression, so it's going to help unify everything that we do right there. That's going to be way smarter. Okay, it's very subtle, but it works. Coming down to the end here, I'm going to go ahead and add some sharpening. Pretty standard. I'm just going to drop this just a little bit. And look at that. Delicious. Oh, that one hits the camera. That was super cool. Did you see that? Boom, right there, that white one. Smack. That's awesome. All right, so let's take a peek at it. Killing everything we had. First thing we did was to denoise it. Now we did a base level exposure contrast just to kind of get it started in the right direction. Primaries to pull a little bit of that orange out, especially in the whites, pull it back a little bit cooler. The adjustment layer, I'm just pulling a touch of red in the shadows out. You can see the scopes down here dropping just a little bit. Okay, now we come to our cupcake itself, our chocolate. We're going to darken and pull some of the reflections out just to make it feel a little richer. And then the cup of the cupcake, boom, I'm going to actually pull that back. It's almost too bright, but it really helps make it pop. You know, just get that white back in it. It really isolates and separates it. Okay, reverse vignette just to help fix our Laowa lens vignetting, followed by the pink, managing the pink, compressing it and in hue and saturation to just make it more uniform, and then finally sharpening. So that feels pretty good. All right. Thank you for diving into the cupcakes with me. I hope this has been helpful. Please give us the follows, the likes, the tweaks, the subscribes, flip all the knobs and rotate all the levers, and we'll see you next time.